And the thing about it, Yeshua, even from the reading, Yeshua never told anybody to worship him. He was there to empower people according to the Hebraic culture and scriptures. He never, in Christianity, they switched it over to worship him. He never stated that, anybody supposed to worship him. Matter of fact, he told them, these things I do, you were doing greater. He was letting them know, like he was giving a messianic message, to establish the Messikim, right?
Yeah, the Messianic nation, yes.
Yes, that's the message he was delivering. He wasn't delivering no message as him being the savior. He was delivering a message that would empower the people to become a group of messiahs.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So the original quote unquote Christian that was thrown into the pit with the lions in the Colosseum were the original Hebrews.
I mean, yeah,
that they was kind of shut down.
I mean, that was happening before Yeshua came on the scene. But
wow,
a zenith when Yeshua became this revolutionary force. He became this central focus point of that revolution of the Hebrews.
Right.
And we're going to read it. I'm going to continue to read it in GBT. But like the Father writes, Yeshua came to redeem the house of Israel and use them to establish the kingdom of Yah on earth, and then spread the true worship of Yah to the four corners of the earth. But they didn't have enough faith in Yeshua to follow him, and they allowed the Romans to come in, and Yeshua accepted his fate. That the children of Israel, they were under such gross darkness, they didn't have enough belief in Yeshua being who he was to empower them to be that messianic nation at that time.
So is that the reason why the books were sealed, because of the lack of faith? Is that the reason why? Okay.
Yes, sir. And what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and read that now so we can get a good understanding of it.
All right. Todah Sakai.
Yes, sir. All right. So I'm still reading on page 82. I'll pick up where I left off. Well, I'll just read this sentence right above where I left off. The crucifixion was actually the attempt to crucify the word of Yah, to remove his presence from among the fallen sons of Yah, and to spiritually destroy Yah himself. The carpenter from Nazareth was the instrument used to convey this prophetic message to the children of Israel and thus to the world. Yeshua was to be the manifestation of the entire prophetic plan of Yah. His coming symbolized truth before the people, whose rejection caused darkness or death to befall them. Yah's chosen servant, Israel, and the Romans, represent the world, united to betray Yeshua in the Passover plot, and by doing so, kill the active living word of Yah. So, like you just mentioned, like I just confirmed, Yeshua, he came to, free the captives from mental bondage and slavery. But in the process of him attempting to do so, the Romans, in cahoots with the Pharisees and Sadducees, they all said, okay, we need to come together and eliminate this individual. And the house of Israel came to motivate them to, manifest this revolution for the Messianic age. They didn't have enough faith in him to protect him and to have his back. And when Yeshua saw that, he said, okay, these people, I can't do nothing for them. And I think this is my fate in this dispensation time. And like it says here, during the Passover plot, when they were having Passover, Yeshua said, hey, there's somebody amongst us that's betraying me. And that was, Judas. And he called him out. And then later on that night, the Romans came. And Judas was like, yeah, that's him right there. And the apostles, they were ready to fight, Like it says in the book, one of them cut one of the soldiers' ear off with a sword. But then it says Yeshua picked it up, healed it, and said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. It ain't time right now. Yeshua said, if I wanted to, I can command and call a whole legion of angels to come and just start fighting our battles. But he said, I ain't gonna do it, because the purpose why I came to redeem the house of Israel is it's no longer in effect. So I don't want to bring judgment at the same time. I'm bringing the judgment on the Romans. I'm bringing judgment on the house of Israel that rejects me. He said, I can't allow that to happen. So I'm just going to let this be what it is. And by him doing so, the prophetic word that the prophets Amos and Daniel prophesied what happened happened. Yeshua died, and at that point, a famine happened. Because we rejected, when we allow Yeshua to be murdered by his enemies, we rejected the word of Yah and the coming of Yah. So Yah was like, okay, you done with me, I'm done with you. Seal up the book. No blessings, no mercy, none of that happening right now. And thus, when Yeshua prophesied that happened. Romans came and said, we kicking out all the Israelites and we're going to kill as many as we can. And now we're scattered to the four corners of the earth, attempting to regather in this dispensation of time. I'm going to finish the paragraph. It says, was it the man or his teachings that had to be stopped? It should certainly be understood that it was not their objective to destroy a body. The flesh profits nothing. Thusly, we can conclude that they had to destroy the force that was greater, the living doctrine or the word, which was Yah. Yah's truth has been killed, his doctrine destroyed, his instructions are not honored or greatly esteemed. Having succeeded in destroying the way of Yah, the devil then, through craft, beguiled the world. So that's the age and era that we live in at this dispensation of time. They say there's over 1 billion Christians on the planet who worship this Messiah from 2,000 years ago. But the sad part about it is they are worshiping a false image, and they have no idea of the true identity and message of that messianic individual 2,000 years ago. It's a diluted and it's a corrupted form of the idea of a Messiah who represents God. So the enemies of Yah say, hey, we won. We got the world to worship Satan, and they're thinking that they're worshiping the creator, Yah. And that's where we're at right now. Yes, Ayan, yes.
Okay, so Christ existed for a reason. There was a reason that he was sent to the world, and that was, for him, he was sent to fulfill the laws. But then he was killed. And now, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, his death couldn't have been in vain. And
now, are you talking about Christ?
Yeah. So I'm trying to
Son?
figure out like how, like, because Christ, like, what is Christ? Like, if it's not the physical image or like this man, like, what is Christ?
Well, the word Christ is a Latin term which means anointed. So it's really talking about, of course, the messianic individual, but we just have to be careful with our terminology because when you say Christ, the first thought that pops in your head is a pale-skinned European, a negligee who died, named Jesus on the cross. And that's essentially what the Gentile nations of today want you to associate. When you think of Christ, you think of God, and then that's associated with the Trinity, which associates with Jesus, and that's a European from Europe. But, you know, we know that the Messiah from 2,000 years ago, his name wasn't Jesus or Jesus, it was Yeshua. And that he was an African male, dark skinned, and he represented the God of the Hebrews and the Israelites from the Abrahamic faith.